Do you think you need to be tall to succeed in cricket? Wait until you listen to Malcolm Marshall's story. Despite being shorter than the typical standard for the sport, he rose to become one of the game's legends. How did he defy his physique's limitations to become a wealthy legend? From the rum shops of Oystons to faraway bars, the debate still brews. Was Malcolm Marshall the greatest fast bowler? Some called him cricket's Tiger Woods, a master with a ball in hand and a calm mind behind it. However, his path was never smooth. He pushed through pain and pressure. With sharp pace and skillful swing, he made batsmen guess and stumble. Marshall did not just bowl fast, he bowled with thought, control, and heart, leaving an indelible mark on the game. How did he become so great? His lifestyle and the wealth he left behind? Let's dive in. Malcolm Marshall stands out as one of the most remarkable cricketers of his generation, not only for his extraordinary skills on the field, but also for his impactful presence in the sport. With a career spanning over a decade, he earned a substantial net worth of $17 million at the time, a figure that would translate to an impressive $32 million today when adjusted for inflation. His financial success was driven primarily by his exploits in professional cricket. Marshall played for the West Indies national team, where he became known for his lethal bowling and ability to dominate the opposition. His performances in international matches and domestic leagues garnered him substantial earnings, including match fees, endorsements, and sponsorship deals. Beyond his playing career, Marshall proved astute in managing his finances. He made intelligent investments that helped him grow his wealth, diversifying his portfolio in ways many athletes overlook. His legacy lives on in cricket records and the financial acumen he displayed, serving as an example to aspiring athletes about the importance of planning for life after sports. Marshall's journey illustrates how one can combine talent and smart financial strategies to achieve sporting greatness and lasting economic security. In his playing days from the 1970s to the early 1990s, even the best cricketers were paid far less than what players earn now. Test match fees were around $1,000 to $2,000, and overseas players in county cricket could earn between $30,000 and $50,000 each year. Marshall once turned down an offer of $1 million to play in South Africa during the apartheid period, choosing his values over financial gain. Malcolm Marshall is considered one of the finest fast bowlers the game has known, but he did not rely just on speed. He thought through each delivery. With sharp movement and control, he kept batsmen guessing. He played a significant part in the strong West Indies teams of his time and left a legacy in game statistics that are still unbroken. As a child, he picked up the game quickly and showed a strong interest in bowling. People noticed his talent early. By his teenage years, he was playing well against strong local teams. At 19, he played his #1 first-class match for Barbados. He bowled with energy and swing that caught attention. His early games were strong enough to earn him a place in the West Indies test side. He played his first match against India in the year 1978. It was not easy at first, but he kept going. His effort and will to improve helped him attain greatness. However, Malcolm Marshall's path to becoming one of cricket's finest fast bowlers was not smooth. He was passed over in favor of more seasoned players in his early years. That changed during the tour of Australia in 1980 to 1981. His strong showings on that trip, including spells at turn matches, started his rise in the international game. Marshall's strength was his constant improvement. He worked on his action, added new skills, and stayed one step ahead of the batsman. His sharp bouncers and skill with swing and seam made him tough to handle, no matter the pitch. He was not tall for a fast bowler, standing at 5 feet 11 inches. However, his quick, low-arm action helped him bowl fast and surprise opponents. He was known to move the ball late and hit the body with short balls that were hard to read. One of his most famous efforts came in the year 1984. He tore through England's batting lineup at Old Trafford, taking 7 wickets for 53 runs while playing with a broken thumb. His battles with strong teams like India and Australia added to his reputation. He ended with 376 test wickets At an average of 20.94 and 157 wickets in one-day matches at 26.96. Marshall was a key part of the West Indies team during their powerful years in the 1980s. With fast bowlers like Michael Holding, Joel Garner, and Andy Roberts beside him, the West Indies attack was feared worldwide. Marshall also played a quiet role in helping younger bowlers, showing them the value of hard work and focus. Away from the pitch, Marshall stayed grounded. He was respected for his calm nature and fairness. After he stopped playing, he took up coaching, helping others grow in the game. In the year 2009, he was added to the International Cricket Council Cricket Hall of Fame. Today, many fast bowlers say they have learned from watching Malcolm Marshall. His way of thinking, effort, and skill remain examples for those who want to bowl fast and bowl well. What was his career like? Let's see how a man defied expectations by mastering the game of cricket. Malcolm Denzel Marshall was born on the 18th of April, 1958, in Bridgetown, St. Michael, Barbados. This small Caribbean island, with a population of around 250,000, had already earned a proud name in cricket. It had given the world the three W's: Walcott, Worrell, and Weeks, and the likes of Seymour Nurse, Garfield Sobers, Conrad Hunt, Wes Hall, Charlie Griffith, Gordon Greenidge, Desmond Haynes, and Joel Garner. His father, Denzel DeCoster Edgehill, had been a cricketer who played for Kings Park Cricket Club in St. Philip. He was also a policeman. Denzel was the son of Claudine Edgehill and Girdwood Ifill. He died in a road accident when Malcolm was only 1 year old. Malcolm's mother was Eleanor Welch. He had 3 half-brothers and 3 half-sisters. He grew up in the parish of St. Michael, Barbados. From the year 1963 to the year 1969, he went to St. Giles Boys' School. After that, from the year 1969 to 1973, he studied at the Parkinson Comprehensive School. After his father's death, Malcolm's grandfather helped raise him and taught him some of the games that would later become his life. He began playing cricket for the Banks Brewery team in 1976. That same year in August, he played his first representative match. It was a 40-over game for the West Indies young cricketers against their English counterparts at Pointe-Pierre, Trinidad and Tobago. In that match, he scored 0 and gave away 53 runs in his 8 overs. As a child, Malcolm admired Sir Garfield Sobers, the famous West Indian all-rounder. After watching a Test century that Sobers scored against New Zealand, his admiration began in 1972. His first senior match came in the Geddes Grant Harrison Line Trophy, a List A game for Barbados on the 13th of February, the year of 1978. He was again dismissed without scoring and did not take a wicket. 4 days later, he made his first-class debut against Jamaica. Although he did not make runs, he took 6 wickets for 77 runs in the Jamaican first innings. That one performance earned him a place on the West Indies tour to India in 1978 to 1979. Many senior West Indies players were unavailable as they had joined the World Series cricket. Malcolm heard about his selection while working in the storeroom at Banks Brewery. At the time, he said he didn't even know where India was. Though dwarfed by the towering figures of Roberts, Holding, Garner, and Croft, who later returned from World Series cricket, Marshall quickly showed promise. He traveled with the squad to England for the 1979 Prudential World Cup and then to Australia and New Zealand in the 1979 to 1980 season. Though he often sat on the bench, he remained ready. He proved his worth when called upon by helping the West Indies win difficult overseas tours to England in 1980 and Pakistan in 1981. The West Indies fast bowlers were criticized for slow over rates and short pitch bowling, but the team answered that England and Australia had used the same tactics in the past and could now not cope with the same treatment. When Colin Croft and Sylvester Clarke left to join rebel tours to South Africa, Marshall, at 24, stepped into a key role. He took the chance with both hands and became a first-choice bowler in the 1982-83 home series against India. From then on, he bowled with purpose and hunger for 9 years. Marshall would switch to around the wicket and fire in bouncers if a partnership stood too long. Some did not like it, but it followed the rules and worked. He aimed to win and never held back. Between 1983 and 1988, Marshall and Imran Khan were the most feared bowlers in the world. His attacking spells helped the West Indies hold their unbeaten Test series record for 15 years. He gave everything in each match. Captains like Clive Lloyd and Vivian Richards trusted him completely. Marshall could take over a game with raw skill and control at his best. The West Indies team at that time had players from different islands, but in the dressing room, they stood together, and Marshall thrived in that environment. On the tour of England in 1984, the West Indies whitewashed the home side for the first time. 18 months later, they did it again in the 1985-86 series. They came close to doing it a third time in 1988, but rain and a minor injury to Marshall on the last day of the first test held them back. It was a golden period for West Indies cricket, and Marshall was right in the middle. He used pace, swing, and accuracy to trouble batsmen in every country. His autobiography, Martial Arts, released in 1987, carried a fitting title. He had learned the skills of fast bowling with care and drive, brutal when needed and clever when it mattered. He followed the example of Dennis Lillee. He mastered the outswing and the leg cutter and did it all without letting go of his pace. When Marshall returned to India in the 1983-84 season, he brought a point to prove. In the Test match at Kanpur, he followed up his best score of 92 with 8 wickets. A local newspaper mentioned it with the headline, "Martial Law." By the end of the series, he had taken 33 wickets, equaling the West Indies record for the most wickets in a single series, a mark previously held by Alf Valentine in 1950 and Colin Croft in 1976-77. His 6 for 37 at Calcutta was a standout moment as India folded for 90 in their second innings. Senior Indian batsmen like Sunil Gavaskar, Mohinder Amaranth, and Dilip Vengsarkar were left struggling against his raw pace right on their home soil. For Marshall, the triumph carried a personal meaning. It helped him erase the memory of his debut series in India in 1978 to 1979. Also, it served as payback for the loss in the World Cup final against India at Lord's in 1983. The following year, on the 1984 Tour of England, Marshall showed how deeply he could unsettle opposition batsmen. In one match, he struck Andy Lloyd on the head, a blow that left a lasting impression. In the third test at Headingley in Leeds, despite suffering a double fracture to his left thumb, he recorded his best bowling figures, 7 for 53. With a plaster on his left arm, he walked onto the field and bowled like a man possessed, many comparing him to a one-armed boxer. He outshone the other 3 fast bowlers in the West Indies side that day. Later that year, Marshall's consistency was again evident during the Tour of Australia. He picked up 5 wickets each time in 4 straight innings, helping his side win the series by 3 matches to 1. Back home in Bridgetown, in the same winter, he tore through New Zealand's batting and ended with match figures of 11 for 120, alongside scoring 63 runs while batting at number 9. In 1988 at Lord's, Marshall delivered another spell that left England in tatters. Bowling at a high pace with a sharp swing, he took 10 wickets for 92 runs, leading West Indies to a victory by 134 runs. Soon after, in England's second innings at Old Trafford, Manchester, he took 7 for 72 in a total of just 93 runs. It was one of the finest displays of fast bowling, one that would be remembered for years. His 35 wickets in that series became a new record for a West Indies bowler in a single Test series. Against India at Port of Spain in the 1988-89 series, he secured match figures of 11 for 89, helping West Indies win by 217 runs. Marshall left his mark on every ground he played, from Bridgetown to Bombay, Lord's to London, Madras to Melbourne. Batsmen worldwide faced his skill and the fear that came with it. He was a fearsome sight with his angled run-up, chest-on action, flexible wrists, and skiddy pace. His build was slight, but his joints were flexible and he kept himself fit, avoiding serious injuries. Malcolm was a man who valued simplicity over the trappings of wealth. Unlike many peers, he found no joy in material possessions or luxury lifestyles. His philosophy favored experiences and relationships rather than accumulating assets or flaunting status symbols. This dedication to a simple way of living extended to his choices regarding housing and transportation, leading to a notable absence of extravagant cars or opulent homes in public records. The only concrete detail that emerged about Malcolm's residence was his home in Hampshire, where he spent 11 years of his life. He settled in the suburb of Eastleigh, which is conveniently located near Southampton. While the area is typically characterized by quaint neighborhoods and a strong sense of community, Malcolm appreciated it for its peaceful atmosphere and the connections he made with his neighbors. After his passing, whispers began to circulate regarding the fate of his Hampshire residence. It was said the house had been sold, though specifics about the buyer or the sale price remained unclear. This uncertainty has made many wonder how his estate was handled after his death. We will find out in Marshall's will, therefore keep watching as we explore that. But before then, Marshall had a secret house in Barbados. While much of Malcolm Marshall's life was spent under the public gaze, parts of it remained private. Perhaps the most intriguing secret of all was the house he left behind. Located in the lush surroundings of Barbados, this hidden home symbolized Marshall's desire for privacy. It was where he could escape the pressures of the cricketing world and simply be himself. Unknown to many fans and media alike, the house was in a secluded area that offered the peace and tranquility that Marshall craved. It was not a grand mansion, but a modest home that reflected his simple, unassuming nature. Many who knew him personally were surprised by how unpretentious the house was. This hidden home wasn't just a retreat, but a sanctuary where he spent time with close family and friends away from the spotlight. Marshall valued privacy and sought solace in this secluded space despite his fame. It was here that he spent his final days, battling cancer far from public attention. After his passing, the house remained, almost like a silent monument to his life away from the world's view. It became a place of remembrance for those who knew the man behind the cricketing legend. Marshall also left his estate, valued at $1,150,453 Barbadian dollars, to Connie, his wife. He also left his daughter Shelley $100,000 and a life insurance policy. Benjamin, his son from another woman, received no share in the will. However, Marshall had been paying £350 a month in child support by court order until he died. Keep watching, as there's more to the will. Talking about his love life, Malcolm Marshall married Connie Marshall in September of the year 1999. They had shared 13 years as partners before their marriage. Their son, Mally Marshall, was born around the year 1990. Mally worked as a sales supervisor and once played cricket. He also acted in the film 83, playing the role of his father. Marshall's daughter, Shelley, was born around 1984 from an earlier relationship. He also had another son, Benjamin Parker Marshall, born around 1992, with another woman. Marshall preferred Connie and Shelley in his will, which led to disagreements over what Benjamin was meant to receive. A financial dispute broke out during one of Malcolm Marshall's memorial games. It was described as a way to remember one of cricket's finest and to help the family he left behind. Some of the best-known names in the game, including Ian Botham and Sir Vivian Richards, were set to return to the field for a special match in memory of Malcolm Marshall, the great West Indian fast bowler who died of cancer in November of 1999. However, as these famous players prepared to play, a dispute over Marshall's estate threatened to distract attention from the event. The match was expected to raise as much as £100,000. The money was to go to the Mally Marshall Trust, a fund created in the name of Marshall's 7-year-old son by his widow, Connie. However, the unfortunate part was that Marshall had 2 other children from different relationships. One of them was Benjamin Parker Marshall, aged 8. His mother, Elizabeth Adegboyega, who had a 10-year relationship with Marshall starting in 1987, had begun legal action to ensure her son would be recognized as a rightful heir. She was granted emergency legal aid to seek maintenance for Benjamin. Mrs. Adegboyega said she only wanted what was fair for her son. She said Benjamin should receive the same as Mally and Shelley regarding the match funds and future support. The Professional Cricketers Association, White Sports Management, and the Bunbury Cricket Club organized the match, which had raised £15 million for charity by then. David English, the man behind the Bunbury side, said he did not know Benjamin existed when the match was planned. He said he had only wanted to help Marshall's family and honor his memory. He added that it would be up to Connie to decide whether to give anything to Benjamin. Advance ticket sales had already brought in £77,500, and more was expected on the day of the match. Lawyers representing Connie offered Mrs. Adegboyega a lump sum of £30,000, the same as the amount earned from the sale of Marshall's house in Hampshire. However, Mrs. Adegboyega did not accept the offer. She insisted it was insufficient. It's been more than 25 years, so the parties must have reached an agreement. In 1996, Marshall took on the role of coach for both Hampshire and the West Indies. While his work in England was well received, the national side's performance in this period continued to decline. The fall in standards led to much criticism directed at Marshall, even though many knew the deeper problems existed within the team. During the World Cup in the year 1999, it was made public that Marshall had been diagnosed with colon cancer. He stepped away from his coaching duties immediately and began treatment. Sadly, the efforts to fight the disease did not succeed. Shortly after he returned to Barbados, he passed away on the 4th of November, aged 41, weighing little more than 25 kilograms. Journalist and friend Pat Sims wrote that the worldwide grief was proof of people's deep love and respect for Marshall. His funeral took place at the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium in Wildey, Barbados. Former West Indies fast bowler Reverend Wes Hall delivered the last rites in a whisper, believing that Marshall had found faith again in the final weeks of his life and was on his way to heaven. 5 men who had all captained the West Indies carried his coffin. He was laid to rest at St. Bartholomew's Church in Barbados. The Malcolm Marshall Memorial Trophy was introduced in his honor. It's awarded to the highest wicket taker in each Test series between England and the West Indies. Another trophy of the same name is given to the winner of a yearly match between Barbados and Trinidad in Tobago. In Birmingham, England, tribute matches are played yearly in Handsworth Park. On the Sunday of the United Kingdom's August bank holiday, 2 teams take part, an invitational 11 and a team chosen by one individual. At the Rose Bowl, the entrance road is named Marshall Drive in memory of Malcolm Marshall and Roy Marshall, 2 West Indian players who left a lasting impression on Hampshire. Marshall's name will always be remembered for his fast bowling, which combined speed with sharp control. At 5 feet 9 inches, he did not fit the usual image of a tall and fearsome fast bowler. Still, he bowled at around 90 miles per hour, mixing it with a late swing and movement off the seam. He could make the ball skid off the surface in Australia or move it through the air in England. From 1978 to 1991, he led the West Indies' fast bowling attack skillfully and thoughtfully. Even on a team with Michael Holding and Joel Garner, Marshall often stood out with his clever approach. His 33 wickets in England in 1984 and his 7 for 53 against Australia in 1988 are 2 examples of how he could break through any batting side, anywhere in the world. Experts still point to his strike rate and control as some of the best recorded for a fast bowler. His value, though, was not only in the numbers. He helped others grow as cricketers. One who learned from him was Sean Pollock, the South African fast bowler. Marshall helped him understand how to move the ball to set up a batsman. That kind of teaching was also passed down to bowlers like Dale Steyn. In his home country of Barbados, Marshall remains a symbol of hope for young players. He proved that you could reach the highest level even with few resources. His quiet nature and refusal to take a $1 million offer during the apartheid period in South Africa won him even more respect. He died in 1999 at the age of 41 from colon cancer. The world of cricket mourned a man who gave so much to the game. That fight with illness made people see the man behind the cricketer. Yet, he is not forgotten. Supporters still talk about his battles with the best batsmen of his time. Some say he was better than Imran Khan or Wasim Akram because he was steady and clever. On different platforms, his bowling is still watched and discussed. In the end, Marshall changed the way people saw fast bowling. He showed that it was not just about power, but also control, planning, and heart. From Bridgetown to Lord's, his name still carries weight. He left behind more than just wickets, but a way of playing that others now try to follow. Thank you for watching, and kindly click on the next video on your screen.